Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming on this Wednesday morning. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, joined by Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord and our traffic and meteorologist Jarrett Lansford. We're going to get right to traffic. You have a crash that could be affecting a lot of drivers this morning.
You know, things have gotten busy here in a hurry. It started off as a quiet commute, and now we've gotten crashes that are causing delays. We're going to start with the one on 370 right near the JFK, and that's where we're seeing a couple of lanes that are blocked as you're going westbound on 370. You can see it's a busy picture here, so let me break down what you're seeing here. This is a tow truck that's gotten on the scene, and it's working to try to open up this left-hand lane. And then over on the right-hand side, you've got emergency crews working the rest of that crash, and you can see that car heavily damaged. So all traffic is squeezing into that middle lane as you're heading into that stretch. So when we look at the map form, you're going to notice things are kind of slow in this area as a result of that. Everybody kind of funneling in there. There is the option, if you're maybe trying to get to the JFK, you could always go to Fort Crook. Otherwise, the delays do stretch back to about that interchange. You'll just need to be ready to get into the middle lane as you're approaching that. We're going to first alert you when we do get some of those lanes opened back up on either the left or the right-hand side. Now, unfortunately, that's not the only crash that we have that's causing some pretty big issues. This is a bad spot to have a crash. This is I-80 westbound. As you're approaching that 144th exit, we actually have the right lane blocked as a result of this one. So you're seeing quite the slowdown showing up here. Remember, this is right where we've got all that work with the lane restrictions just near this as you're heading into this area. So we could really see things start to back up in a hurry as a result of this one. So be ready for it to be slow. You can see it already, just the regular construction impacts showing up as you're going westbound into this area. And we could see this start lighting up in orange and red as we pick up the traffic load and have that lane blocked on the right-hand side. So you'd stay left as you head through there and really be ready for it to be slow. Consider maybe using an alternate route as I do anticipate things getting a lot slower in that stretch. 144th would probably be your best option for trying to avoid that. When you zoom things out, you can see that the rest of the map looks pretty good. Dodge holding up well. You've got a lot of our other main roads in pretty good shape. You just have that crash as you're going on 370 approaching the JFK, and then I-80 starting to light up in all sorts of colors with that crash there as you're approaching 144th. So we'll keep you posted on the latest with these. I do expect some developments here by the next time we check in here in just a little bit.
All right, we'll be looking for your update, Jared. Meanwhile, we got some weather to talk about.
Yeah, some scattered showers and storms that I think for the most part are going to hold off until after the morning commute, but that's going to pose a problem for anything trying to get going outdoors today. Baseball tournaments, anything happening out and about. Got the College World Series game this afternoon as well. This little cluster here just really doesn't have any quit to it, and models suggest it moves to the east, and I think it's going to end up being a little bit more energetic than what models say as well. So that's why I'm concerned about it as it marches in our direction. You can see some rain still west of Seward, west of Lincoln, but there's lightning in that all the way back here west of Grand Island, and I think it's going to be tough to shut this one off for a while. So that area of rain is expanding a little bit. And that's why the tarp's still on the field there at Charles Schwab. We got a game at 1 o'clock today. It'll be interesting because that will be moving in here late morning, and I don't think it's going to be able to quit very easily. So Louisville and Coastal Carolina have scattered showers and thunderstorms. The chances may actually be going up during this game time. Temperature-wise, very comfortable for this one, so no issues there. But scattered showers, some thunderstorms in play during what's going to likely be the coolest day we have for quite a while. Temperatures in the 60s right now. They're going to struggle to warm a little bit. As you can see, anybody under the rain and the thicker clouds is a little bit cooler, but we should warm out ahead of that batch of rain and give us a chance to climb into the 70s today. And there's models suggesting that it's there, but not doing a good job with how it's evolving. So by 9 o'clock, still mostly to the west, it marches east, and I think as we approach, I went a little earlier than noon here. This model says still to the west. I think closer to 11 o'clock would probably be when that would try to move in. 11 would be the earliest for some rain along the river and in the metro. And then it marches east as we go through the afternoon. Scattered showers, and yes, I think there's going to be a little more lightning and thunder in this than what this model's showing. By 4 to 5 o'clock, still some around, but most to the east by 5, towards 6 and 7 with that second game tonight getting going. Temperatures in the 70s. Most of the thunderstorms should be to the east. The rest of the night actually looks pretty quiet. So game 2 tonight, Arkansas and LSU rematch. Temperatures in the 70s and a subtle small rain chance right at the beginning, but those showers should be exiting pretty quickly, and it's going to be a pretty nice night for some baseball. If you got other plans, the pool forecast is in the 70s today with scattered showers and storms. Easily tomorrow's looking a lot better. It's not incredibly hot just yet. You got some upper 80s, some lower 90s, some sunshine, a little on the humid side, but overall, the big time heat holds off until Friday. 98 for the high there. You can see the feels like temperature. I think get 100 to 110 pretty easy for a good chunk of the afternoon. Those are those days where it's going to be an all afternoon thing the way it looks.
So I think as we were talking about during our little Facebook moment that we had, I kind of consider this get things done in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Walk the dog in the morning. That's important. You don't want their little paws to burn because that continues into Saturday and Sunday.
That's the thing. It lasts for a while, and good point there with the pets. Anybody get either very, very early or very, very late in the day to get those out because it's even going to struggle to cool down during the overnight hours during this stretch. 98 on Friday, 102 Saturday, 100 on Sunday, 97 on Monday, and also on Monday, a first alert day because of this storm threat. That's a lot of energy there that any storms will have to work with as a front moves in. So the heat index forecast over this stretch, look at this, on average, this number is going to bounce around a little bit, but I think we'll be hanging out here in this danger range for heat illnesses. Won't take long to be outside and overheat if you're not taking proper precautions over this 4-day stretch, as we're 105 to 115 over a good chunk of it. If there's any good news over the last 24 hours with this, the muggy meter's backed off a little bit, but drier air can heat up a little bit more, so it might be a net kind of push as far as that goes. But still, it's going to be humid all the way through this stretch and deep into next week as well. So that's why we have First Alert 6 weather days starting Friday all the way through Monday. And then some storm chances next week that could pose the risk of having some First Alert 6 weather days as well. So it's something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. First off, it's the heat for the weekend. Next week could bring some storms, and got some weaker storms today that I think are going to be temperamental.
Ooh, all right. The temperatures keep climbing. We didn't have hundreds last time we were on this couch. All right, Rusty, thank you.
We talked about adding a few more degrees to those too.
Oh,
really?
So we'll see.
Stay tuned, folks. All right, well, happening today, a woman charged with the deaths of 4 people, including her own children, will learn her fate. Authorities say Rachel Bickerstaff was driving under the influence at nearly 140 miles per hour when she crashed downtown. 70-year-old Michael Sales, who was driving the other vehicle in the crash, died at the scene. 2 of Bickerstaff's children also died at the scene. The third died days later.
A Nebraska man accused of stealing resources meant to go to first responders will spend years behind bars. John Hochstetler was sentenced to 11 years in prison. He's accused of illegally obtaining $60,000 worth of emergency equipment. Prosecutors allege he was with FEMA and had the equipment sent to his Bellevue home. Court documents say he tricked vendors into sending him things like patient monitors.
All right, at the safety desk with Maria Cade this morning. Maria has some information on a new study that shows how marijuana can really have a big impact on our hearts.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Researchers analyzed medical records of 200 million people. They were between the ages of 19 and 59, so a pretty wide age gap there. And they found that people who use marijuana had a 29% higher risk of having a heart attack. And they also found those people had a 20% higher risk for a stroke compared with non-users. Smoking tobacco is a well-known cause of heart disease, of course, and the CDC says both the smoke and the chemicals in tobacco that can really damage your blood vessels, and it can also increase clotting. Now, this new study is causing some experts to say it's probably time to rethink the potential harm that marijuana use can have, especially on a person who might be predisposed to developing a heart disease.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Maria, thank you. Turning now to hydration. We know this is important all year long, but you just heard that forecast from Rusty. When it's that hot, we really have to be vigilant.
Absolutely. The dehydration, it can really impact your overall health. It can leave you tired, foggy, even lightheaded, but drinking enough fluids, that can really help you to stay focused. So Mayo Clinic, they recommend that women drink at least 92 ounces a day of water. That sounds like a lot. I think I looked it up. That would be about 5 bottles of the 16-ounce bottles of water. And for men, it's a little bit more, 124 ounces. Now, about 20% of our daily intake of liquid comes from food. Of course, the rest is coming from those drinks. But water isn't the only option to stay hydrated. Experts say 100% orange juice is another option. It can also provide some other nutrients for you as well.
It also provides vitamin C and plant compounds that have been associated with lowering inflammation. It provides B vitamins to support energy metabolism and natural carbohydrate to help with both energy and recovery.
Now, experts say if you want to incorporate more liquids into your diet, try to tie it into your routine every day. Maybe drink a glass of water every time you brush your teeth or you eat a meal. Even using the bathroom, that could be an option as well. But you can also drink flavored water. I know some people
like that. Yeah,
because they don't necessarily like the taste of regular water. Does it really have a taste?
As long as it's real ice cold, like I can drink. I keep it in my car. I keep it on my desk, by my bed. Yeah, and you're good about drinking water too.
I always drink water.
I see you.
For a while, that was actually all I drank was just water.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
All right, we've got goals. So 5 bottles a day, right?
Yes,
That's the goal. All right. Everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to be right back after this break.
All right, welcome back. Time now 7:15. Back here at the Weather Center. A first alert to some scattered storm chances later on today.
Yeah, even by 10, 11 o'clock, I think we're going to have to pay attention to these. There's a complex to the west of us that's moving in, and that's part of the weather headlines. There's a lot going on over the course of the next several days, so let's dive into it here. Scattered showers, thunderstorms in the forecast today, late morning and into the afternoon. And then the focus turns to the heat. Thursday, not all that bad, low 90s. But then Friday through Monday, first alert 6 weather days because of the heat. And Monday evening could end the heat, but also bring some strong thunderstorms with it. Now, this is the complex of rain that we're watching here that moves in for the late morning hours. Trying to figure out the timing of this. So far, I think we're okay with the forecast the way we have it. The leading edge of this struggling a little bit to hold on. There's some thunderstorms here north of I-80 near York, and then some back here west of Grand Island. This whole complex moving pretty much due east. And right now, I think that puts it in line sometime maybe as early as the 10 o'clock hour. We have chances as soon as 11, and then they go up into the afternoon, and there could be some lightning with this. So that's a problem for anything outdoors today. You can see the tarps on the field at the College World Series. There's also a game at 1 o'clock today, and this is where it gets a little interesting. I think we could have some thunderstorms moving through pretty easily. If not, maybe just rain, and then that poses a problem as well. with some of the pitching aspects. This is a big game with temperatures in the 70s. And then tonight, there's nothing to worry about. I think that should move east. Scattered thunder showers are pretty much done. Yeah, very comfortable. If you lucked into tickets somehow, you got a great matchup and beautiful weather for Wednesday night with this one. Now, after this, look at Thursday. If there's some if necessary games, it starts to heat up a little bit. But the heat index forecast through the weekend for the championship series, we're talking 110 on average for the heat index each afternoon with this. So this is a 4-day stretch of heat that prompted us to issue first alert 6 weather days starting on Friday, heading into Saturday and Sunday as well. It's all a matter of how far or how close we're going to be to 100 degrees, I think, for our afternoon highs over the course of this stretch. But even look at Thursday, Juneteenth there, 91 for the high, just a little early hints of the heat, and then it really, really ramps up heading into Friday the way things are looking.
And once this heat gets going, it sounds like it's going to be hard to get any relief from it.
That's the thing. Along with the heat, it's also windy. It's a south wind that's going to help to hold the heat around even when the sun sets. Plus, it's humid. That makes it tough to cool down. So we got a 4-day stretch here where we're going to be right near 100 degrees. And then we also got to factor in the wind. This is a look at the wind gusts up near 35 to 45 miles per hour. That's Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. 3 straight days there. What that also does is prop up the overnight lows. So like Cerise mentioned, it's tough to find relief even after the sun sets when your overnight lows don't even dip below 80 degrees. And I think by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning, that's going to be the story. Remember, the coolest part of every day normally is right around sunrise or a little bit before.
Yeah.
And that's when it'll be around 80 degrees.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
By the way, that Sunday forecast high, that would tie the record high for Sunday.
Really?
100 degrees.
While we're there, might as well break a record.
Might as
right?
well. I mean, might as well.
All right, in the meantime, let's get back to the series of crashes you have been tracking closely this morning.
Yeah, and as I anticipated, we have some updates with how things are going
good.
with these. So let's check in on I-80 first. This is where we are looking at the right lane, unfortunately still being blocked. And I wanted to give you a view, though, of what we're looking at. This is within that construction zone, almost at the end of it, but it's right here where we're talking about this being in place. So you can see the right lane blocked, the emergency crews working that scene. So you have to stay left, and you're probably just going to be shuffling through that area with how things are going. And given that that's the construction zone, you can see things really slowing down through that stretch as well, all the way back to about L. So be ready for that to be an area where you are not at your normal speed. Meanwhile, our other crash on 370, we have some good news. We've cleared that left lane. So you have the left lane and the middle lane now open as you're approaching the JFK. Right lane still closed as of last update here as you're approaching the JFK. So watch for some delays, but things starting to move a little bit better in that area. So good news with that one. When we zoom things out and look at the rest of the metro, getting some of those delays eastbound, just past 144th on I-80, but otherwise a lot of our main routes look pretty good. We've got just some subtle slowdowns that are happening at different points on 370. Nothing major to note there. It's all about these crashes. So hopefully we can clear these away quickly, and that can head us on the road to a much smoother rest of our commute this morning.
Okay, Jared, thank you. Happening today, the College World Series finals could be set by the end of the night. Depends how things go, right? Louisville gets Coastal Carolina this afternoon at 1 o'clock. If the Chanticleers win, they are in the finals. Now at 6, Arkansas and LSU meet again. The Tigers are 1 win away from their second CWS final appearance in 3 years. A good reminder that sometimes you just gotta dance.
Yeah, we're going to tell you about that when First Alert 6 streaming returns.
It is graduation season, of course, and the commencement ceremonies can sometimes be long and boring. I'll be honest, mine was.
Sometimes, right? But Northwestern University's class of 2025 was in for a real treat on Sunday with Steve Carell as their commencement speaker. You can't go wrong with him.
Great.
So the actor-comedian sprinkled his address with jokes, even paused for a dance break halfway through his speech. He showed off his moves as the song That's Not My Name by the Ting Tings played for the audience. He even ran off the stage to dance with some of the graduates. Carell went on to remind the graduates to, quote, just dance sometimes. I agree with that.
What a great choice of a speaker, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's some good advice.
If you've ever watched The Office, people were talking about Scott's Tots.
Yes,
And
thank
these
you.
are the children that he hoped to promise one day to pay for their college tuition. So look at him. He's like running into the crowd. That's like such a fun.
What a great choice. You'll
Yeah.
never forget your graduation
Okay.
day.
Did you all have any interesting commencement speakers when you graduated?
No.
Did you?
I had Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Oh, that is.
And it was 2021, so
wow.
very
Wow.
I was on topic
See,
there.
you'll never remember that. Forget that
kidding.
one. That's
Yeah.
really a good one. All right, everybody, think about your graduation speeches. Look, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
All right, have a great start to your Wednesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, a First Alert 6 traffic update for you. We're following the roadways this morning with Jared.
A couple of crashes that I've been tracking here. I-80 westbound as you're approaching 144th is one of them. Right here, you can see the right lane is blocked as a result of that in the construction zone. So things slowing a fair bit as you're heading into this area. Be ready for it to be slow. You're even checking up eastbound right around the same area. Those delays as you're going westbound stretch back to about L's. Plan accordingly. That's probably going to stay there for a little bit. We're starting to improve on 370 westbound approaching JFK, but do still have the right lane blocked at the moment. So it's a little bit slow as you're heading into that area. Make sure you're staying left as you go through there. Otherwise, starting to pick up elsewhere, but not looking at as big issues on the rest of our roads. Rusty.
Jared, the road's dry for now, but there is a complex of thunderstorms to the west that I think should avoid the morning drive, which is good news, but it'll move through and likely get here by late morning and impact the middle of the day for us. You can see not a lot of quit to it. Off to the west, there's some heavy rain, even a little bit of lightning, and this could pose a problem for anybody with College World Series tickets for the afternoon hours or anything going on around lunch into the afternoon that may be outdoors. Might get a little soaked, and there could be some lightning with this as well. So storm chances start to go up as we approach between 10 a.m. and noon, and then into the afternoon are our greatest chances, and those should relax towards 5 and 6 o'clock. So it's mostly middle of the day with these. Keep that in mind. College World Series Game 1 today, Louisville and Coastal Carolina. Could have some weather impacts there. Temperatures in the 70s. By the night game, looks great. Comfortable temperatures and drying out. Aaron?
A woman will be sentenced today for her role in a deadly crash that happened downtown. Rachel Bickerstaff pled no contest to DUI and 4 counts of motor vehicle homicide. Authorities say she was going 140 miles an hour at the time that crash.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in 25 minutes. We'll see you then.